Hey y'all. So often when we think about opening up our hips, we don't think about the other parts of our body that are connected in order to really make a hip opening happen. If you aren't opening your quads, or if you're not really talking to your psoas muscle, if you're not getting into your hamstrings, you're never gonna really fully access your hips, and you'll find hip openers like single pigeon pose, which we'll work on today, double pigeon pose, all of these really deep hip openings to be very uncomfortable. So this class is an opportunity to get into those little spaces that really make a hip opening more worthwhile and will make you open to other different kinds of poses in your practice. So we're going to start out in Tadasana, mountain pose. So you go ahead, set yourself up, find your three-prong outlets in the feet. Go ahead, roll the shoulders down, relax everything through. You do the same thing every time in Tadasana, just finding your footing, standing up nice and tall, exactly as you want to be in every part of your life. And then we'll just start out with a little vinyasa. So on the inhale, bring the arms up, the gaze comes up. Exhale, forward fold over your legs. Let the fingertips come down. They can come to the shins, come to the ground. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, plant your hands and step back to that high plank position. Knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Upward facing dog or cobra. Curl the toes, lift the hips up. Downward facing dog. Right leg comes up into the air, step it up to meet your hands. We're gonna come into a low lunge place. So you're dropping the back knee down to the ground. Go ahead and line your ankle. You see this in Warrior 2 pose. You see it in Warrior 1. You're setting up this knee, ankle, straight line alignment. So you sink deep in the hips, squaring the hips forward, arms come up. Just breathe here for a beat. And each breath, let it open up a little bit deeper into your hips. So each breath, sink a little further. And sink in the hips. You're sinking in the hips so much that you roll forward almost off of your kneecap, coming onto your quad. Just sinking deep. Just breathe here. And then when you're ready, bring the hands down and into your right inner thigh. And wiggle your right foot out a little bit to the side. Now, you can keep your foot stable and flat on the ground like this, but you can also roll onto the outer edge of your foot. But as you come down, you're rolling and you're just making this action like you're pressing into the hands, rolling the hips open, and you're rolling off of your back knee, rolling onto your quad, lengthening through the spine, lengthening through the chest. Bring the forearms down to the ground. This might not be accessible. You might stay up here, hands up, curling the chest forward. This is perfect. You're opening up the hip. You might have the foot still on the ground. Just find a place where you can breathe. This is lizard pose. This is a very, very deep hip opening, but this is the space where you can really start to externally rotate if you roll the foot out and really get into this deep crotch hip action. And just breathe, gaze is forward, opening up. And then as you're ready, you can roll onto your left forearm if that's there for you. You might stay up onto your left hand though, that's fine. But you stay where you can, bend the back knee. So you're not on your back knee, you're on your back quad. You pop the back knee, the foot pops up in the air, reach back with your right hand for the left foot, make that connection, and then pull the foot in towards your butt. So this is really getting into the quad. You can feel the opening right in here in the top part of the thigh. Just breathing, roll the shoulder open up, press into that left hand, roll the shoulder open, roll onto the knife edge of the right foot. And then when you're ready, kick the foot back into your hand. Just kick it back. Now this action is getting into the hamstring. Hamstring and really talking to that hip, getting everything to open up. Take another breath here. And then when you're ready, let that grip go. Come back down to the forearms. Walk yourself up. Draw the hips back. Extend the front leg straight. We're coming into that runner's lunge from the workout. So inhale to lengthen through the chest. Exhale, forward fold over your legs. And if you can't get your hands on the ground here, just put your hands up on blocks or books or whatever you need to. Blocks can be made from anything. So just find something to prop yourself up on, but draw the hips back and let your chest melt down towards your leg. And don't worry about putting your head on your knee here. Just direct energy, the light of your chest, that light from camel pose, the light from your heart openers comes over your toes. And just breathe. Relaxing everything forward. And then when you're ready, bend deep into that front knee. Plant the hands, curl the back toes under. Let's step back, high plank. Knees, chest, chin, chaturanga. Upward facing dog or cobra. Curl the toes, lift the hips up, down dog. Take a beat. Left leg comes up into the air. Step it up to meet your hands. We're going to drop down onto the back knee. We're coming into that low lunge. So go ahead and get your knee, I don't care if you're all the way up here, you'd never come down onto the quad at all, but just get this good alignment with the knee and the ankle. Because once you solidify this structure, you'll find it in Warrior 2 like that every time. Let's go ahead, fix your pants if you need to. But inhale, sit up nice and tall. Exhale, the arms come up, sink deep in the hips. And as you lift your arms up, the chest and the heart want to open. So just let your head fall back, let everything melt open, and just relax. And the longer that you're here, the deeper you'll sink into your hip. Still training that ankle and the knee together. Take one last breath like this, and then bring the hands down into your left inner thigh. So again, you're walking this left foot out a little bit. You might stay on the left foot, that's fine, but you can also roll onto the knife edge of the left foot. And you roll so far forward that you come off of your back knee, coming onto your right quad. And then when it's there for you, drop down to your forearms. If it's not there for you, stay up on your hands. It's fine. You can also take a block, slide your forearms onto a block, but just relax. Don't think about how long you're going to be here. Because if you think about how long you're going to be here, you're going to start thinking about getting out of this position. And you don't need to get out of this position. You're fine. If you're feeling sensation, that's good. You want to feel sensation. That's the reason to do it. Just breathe. Let your gaze come forward. Relaxing everything open. And then when you're ready, you roll onto that right hand. You might be up here on the hand. You might be down on the forearm, whichever is fine. Take your left hand back. Bend your back knee. So you're not on your right knee, you're on your right quad. But you bend the back knee, reach back with the left hand, reach back, make the connection with the foot, kick the foot back into the hand. And you're kicking it back and opening up your hamstring and just breathing here, opening up. And then when you're ready, pull it closer towards your butt. So now you're getting into the quad. Opening up, really connecting all the dots of your hip. All of these pieces are connected to one another. Take one more breath like this, and then walk yourself back up. Walk it up. Extend that front leg straight. Extend the left leg straight. Roll up your mat if that's what's happening. And you can prop yourself up on blocks here if you want for your runner's lunge. But on the inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, forward fold over your legs. And just draw the hips back. As you draw the hips back, this opens up your hamstring, opens up your quad, and you're letting your heart energy shine over your toes, not putting your head on your knee. Just breathe. Relax the shoulders down. Try to isolate the parts of yourself that need this stretch. Your shoulders don't need it. Just breathe. Walk yourself forward. Plant the hands. Let's step back, high plank. Knees, chest, chin, chaturanga. Upward facing dog or cobra. Curl the toes, lift the hips, down dog. Now bring the right leg up into the air and step it up to meet your hands, and then drop the right shin down to the ground. We're coming into the shape of single pigeon pose. So single pigeon, you might be aiming, as you should, to have your front shin parallel with the front edge of the mat. This is the goal. This is not always accessible to everyone, and I don't want you to obsess over it. So just as much as you need to, point your foot in towards your groin so that you're comfortable. And you might notice that you have some gappage happening, like you might have a big gap underneath your hip right now. You might have a big gap under your knee, maybe even under this front hip over here. Just take blocks, books, blankets, clothing, stuff it underneath yourself. Just support yourself to a place where you can sit up nice and tall. And you keep the back toes curled under so that you can square your hips forward, sit up nice and tall on the inhale, and then exhale, walk yourself forward. And we're just gonna stay here for a couple beats. You're just understanding this shape, feeling the hip open up. Let the neck relax, let the shoulders relax. None of this is happening in the upper body. It's all happening, the connection of the pieces that we put together in our lizard pose. All of those pieces come together for our pigeon pose. Take another breath here like this, then walk yourself up. Plant the hands. We're gonna step back to a three-legged downward facing dog. So you're gonna curl the back toes under, press into the hands, lift back, extend the right leg straight, three-legged dog, shake out your leg, shake it out, get the blood running in it again, let that go. Left leg comes up into the air, step it up to meet your hands, drop the left shin down to the ground, single pigeon. So you're coming so that you're aiming toward paralleling your left shin with the front edge of the mat. This is very, very difficult, and it can take a lot of time before you get there. So you can point your foot in towards your groin. It'll make it a little bit easier. And go ahead and stuff yourself up if you want to put a block, a blanket, 2 blankets, 3 blankets, whatever, underneath your hip right here. If you want to slide something underneath your right hip or underneath your knee, feel free. Curl the back toes under so you can square the hips forward. You want to make sure that you're not just rolling onto your left hip. You want to make sure that you're squaring forward into your right hip. That is where you really need this stretch. Inhale, sit nice and tall, and then exhale, forward fold. And just walk yourself forward. Walk yourself forward to the place where it feels good. Your shoulders relax, the head relaxes, neck relaxes. Taking all the work out of the upper body. Melt your hips. Toes stay curled under, just so you can stay nice and square. You want to make sure that you're getting the right kind of stretch. It doesn't matter what it looks like as long as you're getting the right kind of stretch. Flex through your toes so you know your legs are completely active. And then when you're ready, you're going to walk yourself in, walk it in. Go ahead, get a good grip in the hands, curl the back toes under, make sure you're ready. We're gonna step back, three-legged dog. Shift back, left leg comes up. Shake out your hip, shake it out, shake it out. Drop that left leg, drop down to your knees, draw your hips back, child's pose. And relax. And if you hold in these poses for as long as you need to, you could hold on, you could stay in a single pigeon pose during a television show. You can hit lizard pose while you're hanging out in your living room. The longer you sit in these hip openings and the longer you work toward opening up your hamstrings, the better you'll feel in the long run. And it will provide a special release if you do jobs where your body is constantly moving in short, jerky motions. So feel free to hold these poses as long as you need to. And feel free to do this sequence again, really opening up your hips for every part of your life.